All right.
Having said that, then I'm going to share my screen so we can talk about where we are and how we got to this point right now. Can everyone see that okay?
Yes.
So in 2020, the Akom Kese, we just finished up our Akom Kese this year, which was held in August. Most of you know, guys, it was virtual. But development of the eldership stuff came out of our 2019 conference when we specifically asked the community whether or not the concept or the need, where there's a need to have a council of elders for our community. So the overwhelming response from the community was yes, this is something that we need, this is something that we should have. And then as a result of that, we, the Akom Kese Council Planning Committee, we started working on it. So pretty much after the 2019 Akom Kese, we started accumulating the information that we had gathered. We went back and did some research, talking to different people about what we thought it should be, what it should look like, and what a process should look like. So from the Comcast 2019, we was broken up and thinking to like it was 8 groups or it was 9 groups, and each group came back with what they thought the Council of Elders would look like and what would be the attributes of a Council of Elders. So I don't want to go through all these slides, but you can see, group 1, what their thoughts was. An elder is someone who has wisdom throughout experience. Elders offer guidance and hope and lead the new generation. So most of the comments from the community were pretty much in the same line in terms of what's a council, what is a elder, and what that means. So most of the community, or most of the people that were at the conference, pretty much were in alignment in terms of what the thoughts were for a council and what that should look like. With that said, once we obtained the information that's from the community, we then went back and just started looking through the literature, started talking to people and getting information about what does that look like? What does eldership look like? And pretty much based on our research and what we came up with from the literature was pretty much saying that eldership is a title of esteem and great responsibility, that while it tends to come with age, it is not automatically given because of one's age. Eldership must be earned through good character, adherence to the society accepted code of conduct, serving as a steward and repository for the history, culture, beliefs, and practices for our community, and dedication to continuous lifelong learning and teaching. So this word eldership is pretty much summarized in this concept, and from what people are saying, people that we've spoken to directly, and then also things that we're finding in the literature in terms of what does that look like, what does people written, what people have said about it. So one thing that was consistent based on all the information that we found is that an elder provides advice to the community. An elder sets a tone for what is acceptable behavior. An elder leads by community, leads by example, and within leading the community. And a big thing is the elder being a protector of the community and the culture. So these are constant themes that kind of came up as a result of the research that we had done in terms of defining what this means, what is an elder. So most of us, I know, we think of eldership, we think of a person who's just became old, they've gotten older, they've lived. And yes, that is a definition, that is one definition, but for what we're talking about and what we're speaking of in terms of eldership, we're looking at the character in addition to the longevity in terms of years.
You, Kese, I want to interrupt you. Go back. You have
Yes.
to read the last one. Acts and speaks with integrity throughout every facet of their life. Cannot forget that part. That is so important. That you want people with integrity who know the culture and who can teach others and carries it with them always.
Does anybody else want to chime in? I don't have to talk this whole time. I mean, this is a conversation. We do want it to be a conversation. So if any people will have questions or comments, you're more than welcome, to interject as we're going through this. All right. So one of the things that I thought that was very important in terms of noting the similarity between the characteristics of priests and then the characteristics of a person that has a title as an elder. So the things that I highlighted was honesty, respectful, good listener, kind, family and people-oriented, understanding, and follows protocol. So I thought that it was important to cross-reference what we're calling elders with part of our tradition. The priesthood is another tradition in our culture, and then the character that's associated with that is important. So as priests, there's a certain code of conduct that we should have and the way that we should carry ourselves. And as an elder, there's also a certain code and character and attributes that are associated with that position as well. So just like Auntie has said, in terms of speak with integrity throughout every facet of their life, again, providing that example and being that role model to those individuals in the community. So having said that, the board, we got together and we, over several meetings, came up with a process in terms of what this should look like. So the community has spoken in 2019 saying, yes, this is something that we think we need to have. So the board, we went back and forth in terms of how this process should go and what it should look like. With that being said, this is what we ended up landing on in terms of what the process should look like. So we had a call for nominees. So throughout that whole year of 2019 to 2020, Coach Shua was very active on Facebook, engaging constituents or engaging the community, asking them questions, trying to get feedback, asking for, if you know someone who meet this criteria as an elder, please nominate them so that we can take them through the process in terms of what we had thought. So throughout 2019, up until the Akom, Kese 2020, we had nominees. So right now, we have 21 nominees that have been nominated by various people within the community. One of the things that you should note, the nominees is a combination of priests and just lay people that are involved in the community, who are involved in the culture, and rightfully so. I think it should not just be all priests, for example, in the Council of Elders. It should be a mix of people that are part of the community that are associated with this. So we had our call for nominees, which nominations closed in August on Sunday. Like I said, we have 21 nominees at this point. Our next step in this process is that the nominees are going to be vetted by the shrines. So with that process, we're taking the names of those people, we're taking them to the shrine, and we're asking them, will this person be a good elder? So what we have come up with is that we wanted to go to 3 different shrines, and whatever the 3 shrines agreed upon, the names, those would be the names that would move forward for the next process. So once we have those names, then we would send out formal letters or invitations to the nominees explaining what has taken place. And then if they accept this is something that they want to do, they want to serve in this position, we will have all the priests gather together, and the elders or the people presented come forth as elders will then have a swearing of an oath, and then there will be a 40-day preparation period. And then our plan is for Akom Kese 2021 to have a outdooring at Akom Kese 2021. So that's what our plans are and our process in terms of how this thing is going to move forward. Are there any questions?
Yes, I had a couple of questions. So how many
Who's speaking?
elders are going to be all together? How many is it going to be?
We don't know. So we have 21 that have been nominated. And from that 21, we're going to present those names to the shrines. And whatever comes back from the shrines will be the people who we will approach. And then if those, so say 10 people say yes, say the shrine gives us 10 names. We will approach those 10 names. Then we will ask them, do you want to serve in this position, serve in this role? And from the 10, only 7 might say, yes, I want to serve in that position. And then that 7 will be the ones that we will move forward with.
Okay. Now, are these elders going to be for life, or is there a certain term?
Huh? Will the elders, what you said?
Are they going to serve for life? In other words, are they? Or is it going to be a certain term? Like
I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. What our thoughts are is once the board or once the elders come together, they will be responsible for setting up their bylaws and their laws in terms of how they want to conduct business. I don't think us, a Akom Kese Planning Committee, really should be dictating how they choose to operate. So we can go back from a traditional perspective, what has been happened traditionally, and then use that as a guiding factor. But we haven't gone down that road in terms of what that should be and what it should look like in terms of how long you're on a position or how long you serve a position. So just like with any position, anything within our culture, if a person isn't living up to their responsibility, they end up becoming dethroned. But that whole process, in my mind, and I'm pretty sure for the board as well, is that those decisions will be made amongst the elders.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Yeah, Kwesi, Paucho, question. What 3 shrines are being used?
Well, we initially thought of 3 shrines, but this is not set in stone. So we have already had some conversations with people, so we wanted to use Nana. I'm going blank in terms of the names, but we had approached 3 shrines: Nana Ashi Shrine, Nana Abana, Nayo, and Nana Duku, about doing the work for this. But this is definitely subject to change once we start really getting into the shrine work. But those were the 3 individuals that we had approached up. So in terms of the shrines that we were going to approach.
Nana Duku Anoche in Phoenix?
No, Nana Duku Mankosa, who has Mosi Shrine or Cigarette Shrine. And then, so that's what we're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Hello?
Thank you.
Kese, I just wanted to say that in talking to different people, it was suggested that we definitely should look at Nanadati Kofi Shrine, because he is definitely one that deals with law and order and processes. So we need to look at that as well. If anyone wants to recommend Nanadati Kofi Kamfo, that would we could address or approach, that would be awesome.
So yeah, we're about to move into this phase. So everything is about to become really, really spiritual. So things are very subject to change. So that's what we as humans are thinking. But once we start dealing with the shrines, we're gonna follow their lead in terms of what it should be like. But yes, that did come up as one of the shrines that we should definitely bring forth. But after this meeting, we'll start getting into the shrine stuff. So it's subject to change, but the principle is being the same in terms of having the three shrines bring forth the names, and the three shrines agreeing on all names. So if two shrines agree on one and another one doesn't, then we would not want to bring that person forth. We want to have all three shrines agree, independent of each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with the swearing of oath, I know there was some questions about what the priest, I think when the priest gathering and how that would look like. So essentially with us asking all the priests to come together and witness this, it's really the elders really saying their intent to the shrine. So we want to make sure that this is a shrine. I mean, the people have some degree of accountability to us as constituents, but we want their accountability to come through the shrines. You know, you're saying you're willing to come forth in this position, and as a result, this is what you are going to do. So that conversation is going to take place between the elders and the shrine, and that's the oath that they're taking, and the priest in this process will witness that. So and that becomes the bond between them. That's become their covenant with the shrines in terms of them being able to dutifully carry out their responsibilities. So everything right now is, this is all to be determined. This is all in flux in terms of where this is going to happen. But our next process is to be able to start consulting the shrines and getting the body together. Once we have the body together, then we'll start moving forward with the next step in terms of the priest. So one of the things that I thought was important to put in here is the legitimacy of the process. And as we look through our history, we'll see that, in my mind, we had the blueprint all along. We just never, maybe didn't pay attention to it or however. But in terms of, when Nana Yao went to Ghana and Nana Kuya Parabia's mother became possessed with the shrines and divined that Nana Yao Zulu was descendants of the enslaved. And as a result of that, the shrines sanctioned a lot of stuff. Well, they gave Nana Queer Parabia to do permission to do the things that she needed to do for him, so that those first shrines, for example, could come over to the United States of America. So that connection in terms of the shrines putting their blessing on it, giving it the legitimacy that it needs in order for it to move forward. We wanted to be able to mimic that process because, from my understanding, a lot of the things that happen in Ghana, I mean, there's always some consultation with the shrines before moving forward on a lot of things. So we wanted to make sure we had that legitimacy in seeing that it's not us who are picking or choosing the Council of Elders. This is coming from the shrines. The shrines is legitimized, giving it the legitimacy that it needs in order to move forward. So one of the things that we talked about in terms of the Council of Elders and the duties that we're expecting is, one, to create an atmosphere of trust and respect. Two, maintain and uphold tenets of Akan culture, which just all goes back to the characteristics and things of that nature. Another one was to help establish a Busia Panyis for household. So this here on the board has been somewhat of I wouldn't say controversial, but with the Busia Panyins are established by their households. The people in that family will determine and choose who that person should be. Our vision is that the Council of Elders will help in terms of that process and what it should look like and what it should be like in terms of helping a household who considers themselves a part of this community to be able to identify who would be the charge, who would be the head person for that particular family. So it's not the Council of Elders going to somebody's house and picking you or the Buski Panyin for this house. Of course, everything has to be through invitation, and you're inviting the person in to provide you with the assistance that you need if that's something that you choose to do. Another thing that we thought was very important is that for the Council of Elders to be able to witness the rights in the community, whether it's initiation rights, graduation rights, puberty rights, funeral rights, whatever it might be. But again, all of these things are happening as invitation. It's not the Council of Elders has to come to this point. If you invite them and they're available to come, then of course we want to be able to show that support to the community. All right. So one of the things I wanted to say, the community is a volunteer community. So we're all a part of this because we choose to be a part of it. We're all a part of a Akom Kese community because of our love for our traditions and wanting to recapture some of those things that we lost. I think that it's important that we all hold each other accountable in terms of the things that we do, the things that we say, how we behave. Because if we don't police ourselves, then we got the white man community that will police us. And we really don't want to get involved with them because we see that's not very good for us. So we are here as a result of just being able to support the community and being able to try to plug in some of those holes that we're missing as a community. And this is something that we feel is definitely needed. So having said that, I will entertain any questions that anyone might have. So my presentation was just that good and that thorough. Everybody heard everything? Everybody's clear?
The reason why this was done, was so that we could have a conversation, because there were people who felt that they didn't have enough information, or that there were people who hadn't heard about this. So please step forward and ask a question if you have one.
Mapaucho is Comfort for Chedawa Monishari Pollard. Could you share with me the difference, other than the selection process, between the Akom Kese Council of Elders and the existing Council of Elders in the community now?
Okay, so you say the existing Council of Elders. What is the existing Council of Elders?
There's a Council of Elders in the DC community, headed up by co-directors Nana Amatayas and Baba Rasafik Woozy. And that Council of Elders have been operated in the community for several years. They're the most recent co-directors. I guess you don't know about them, but they've been active for a while. And they hold business. I don't know if there's a relationship that could be extended across the aisle and some camaraderie there, or the chores of the priest council of elders here, Akom Kese, would be different.
Right.
This is for Osborne. I can speak to that. So I'm familiar with both. So the DC is a Pan-African Council of Elders. So the difference is that the one that you're speaking of, Mama Kompo, is for the Pan-African community in general, specifically within the DC community. So the DC Pan-African community, whereas this Council of Elders will be serving the Akom community within the United States.
Madasi, Mama.
You're welcome. Give me out that.
I might want to add that it is not the intention of the Akom Kese board to try to replace any existing Council of Elders that are out there. We're looking to serve also the Akom Kese community with a Council of Elders.
Madasi.
Greetings, this is Akom Ama and Yamache. I just wanted to ask if you could explain, just for course of the recording, who makes up the quote unquote, if there's a membership from Akom Kese that the elders will also respond to. If you could just kind of elaborate on that for those who may have.
Ask your question again. You said, is there a membership that they will respond to?
Is there a membership like Akom Kese? Is there a membership organization? If it's not, will it be a membership organization, or is it just a general body, like who does it serve, or who it makes up its members?
Well, we envision it serving the entire Akom community, whoever those people who identify as such. The board, we're probably going to be having some conversations about this concept of membership, because it keeps coming up in terms of how we're going to, whether or not we're going to move in that direction. I'm kind of hesitant in terms of, like, creating a membership organization, because now you're creating exclusivity where you're excluding people. And that's not the intent. The intent is to have everybody being able to work together and help each other and, provide that level of support. So once we start getting into membership, now we become exclusive. And
Right.
I'm not we're going to be having that conversation shortly as a board. But right now, the general thought is that the Council of Elders will be available to whoever seeks their help, regardless of what shrine house you're from, what organization you might be a part of, whatever it is, other affiliations that you have, they will be available. You will be available to it. They will be available to you. The whole function is to serve the community.
Thank you.
That's it.
Good morning, everyone. It's Nana Sewa from the Circle Light. I've been listening, and I think all the things, the information that's come about, it's a good thing. One thing I would like to interject when we were discussing eldership, and we were discussing a comfo. And I think one of the main differences with the eldership is that you can be in a comfo, and you can be a younger comfo, you can be one of mid-age, and you can be one of seniorship. The most important to me to define the elder is the wisdom and the experience that comes with that. And it's not anything, it's nothing negative about ones who haven't attained the experience, because it comes with, hopefully it comes with age, because you have seen a lot. And that was one thing I wanted to interject about how I define the difference of the two. And there was another, and what I was thinking about is that, there's a lot of different factions or different parts of our community that have their own eldership and these type of factions that come off of that. And I think that what Akom Kese is wanting to do is to bring us together. And I respect that, and I like that. And I've really been quiet, and I just wanted to let that voice be known. I think it's a great idea. It's not to minimize what anyone else is doing. I think it's a way for the comfos in New York and the comfos in DC and throughout the US to come together. So, because sometimes it appears, even though we're not trying to do that, when something happens in New York, it's in New York. When something happens in DC, it's DC. And we have to support the sister who is in Raleigh. We have all these other places, and I feel that the Akom Kese can bring about all these different points in the United States and all over, and to bring us together as a Akom people, as a Akom within the Akom community. And I wanted to get that out before, but I'm gonna stop talking because I'm finished. Thank you for now.
Thank you.
Thank you. One of the things that we've often talked about is the fact that as Akoms in America, the emphasis has been on the priesthood mostly, and not about the general community. And so we wanted to make sure that the people in the community knew that we see them and we know that they're there, and they also have issues. It's not just always about the priest. There are organizations that have been established to deal with issues that the priests are having. But as far as the general community was concerned, we didn't have elders to deal with that. And when we did Akom Kese last year, we asked, do you feel that this would be something helpful to you? And everybody really was on board with that. I don't think one of the groups said that they didn't think that that was something important that we just didn't need to do. So that's another one of the reasons for the same thing you said, sister. Thank you for those words. But we need to bring our whole communities together.
Anyone else?
I just have a comment. This is Andrea Amoa. Just based upon what I'm hearing from everybody saying, and one of the things that we were not, one of the things we were able to do this year because of Akom Kese was to include people in North Carolina, in the Virginias, in the Floridas, et cetera, et cetera. But now that I'm hearing that, I think it would be definitely productive for us to seek out those individuals and make them some sort of ambassadors for Akom Kese community and for the Akom Kese Akoms to come back, so we can reach out to them and they can reach out to the members of Akom in their states.
Yeah, so we can provide support to what they're doing in their states, because mostly a lot of the people in the other states, they're isolated. So like I know there's a sister in Ohio. So as a group, you know, if she's connected with us, then we can provide support to her. So it's a good idea.
I didn't even know there was a sister in Ohio. So what are the other places that we are aware of? You know, because this is the first time I'm hearing about the sister in Ohio, but it'd be nice to know those things so we can have that information. So
Yeah.
maybe, you know, they're having a comb, we could go out there. There's nothing to travel to Ohio, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's great.
One of the things, one of our other projects, which I guess is not the big priority, but out of the Akom Kese this year, was to put together a directory, which we have a lot of the information, but we just got to put it together and make sure everybody's okay with the information being published to others. But that's one of the things that we're going to be working on as well. But yeah, you got people in North Carolina, you got people in Florida. I'm told we have some Akom groups in California,
And Detroit,
Ohio, Detroit. Yeah, so there's a wide net of folks that are spread out. We just aren't aware of all of each other. So that was one of the things at the meeting. We had asked people to tell other people that you know, because we don't know everybody. We don't know everybody who's practicing Akom traditions, and it would be nice to connect up with them and to learn and to share with each other. But you know, if we don't know the information, we don't know. So, but everybody knows somebody. So if everyone just shares the information and let people know this is what's going on, we can bring the community together and be a lot more tight knit in terms of what we're being able to do.
I just wanted to say, this is a Akom Shabakai. During the Akom Kese, there were a lot of questions about the process, and I wanted to invite everyone to ask questions specifically about that. Please feel free to voice your opinions or make other suggestions. Again, because this is out of our heads and what we've been talking to other people, but we know more. There are lots of other opinions out there, so please do share what you think about the actual process, if you have any other concerns about that.
Hi, this is Nana Sewa. My question was, I know that you spoke about rituals, you know, because the seniority of the Akomfos, of the eldership, who will be performing the rituals to the swearing in and all those things. You know, I know the process, you're going to different shrines and you're going to present the names, but after the names are presented, who will be, who are the people, if you know, if you don't know, who will be conducting the rituals for this particular group of eldership?
So as it stands, because we don't have those details right now, we're pretty much going by what the shrines tell us to do. So once we get all these names, everyone's been approved and people accept the positions, at that point is when we will say, okay, now what needs to be done? What is the shrine asking for us to do to solidify these positions in the community? And I'm guessing at that point we'll have people to actually do that work. I'm guessing that once the shrine tells us what to do, they'll be able to tell us who's going to do it also. But we don't have any of that set up because we're not in a position to make those, you know, we can't say what it's going to be because we don't know at this point. We just don't know.
Well, that's fair.
So yeah, we're gonna. I mean, from this point on, it's really going to be guided by what the shrines say in terms of how things are going to move forward. So, just reinforcing what a coach was saying. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be elders involved. We just don't know who. But again, the shrines are going to tell us. We'll deal, you know, what names come forth from the shrines, and we'll move forward in terms of what that should look like and whatever rituals got to be done and who's going to do what and what types of baths have to be done, all that type of stuff. We don't know, you know, but once we get the information, we're going to try to be as traditional as possible given the situation that we're in. Hey, Nana Inyo, how are you doing? Welcome. Okay, guys, so I take it there's no one has any more questions about this process or what we're interested in doing since they're so quiet, which is good. I'm actually happy. On a lighter note, let me just ask, how's everybody doing with this crazy COVID stuff, with getting back to school? I mean, I know it's been a lot. I know it's been a lot going on. I know people are fatigued. I know it's been crazy, but how are you doing just spiritually? How are you feeling?
Tired. Spiritually, I'm good, but bodily, I'm Zoom wears you out.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially you teaching what from sun up to sundown.
I'm 7 days a week now.
What? Are you serious?
I mean, between prep and actual doing it, yeah, I'm grinding.
Wow, that is crazy.
I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot. Teaching.
I still find time with family on Sunday. We do a family Zoom every Sunday.
Yeah.
Zoom. Yeah.
Well, I really feel for educators right now because I know the hell that they are catching with trying to do online classes with these students, and I can't even imagine how you would do an online class with like kindergartners or pre-K or 3-year-olds. I mean, how would you do something like that? I mean, yeah. So I just really feel for the educators right now because I know they catching hell with trying to provide some instruction for these students.
Yeah.
Madasi Nana.
Yeah.
This is Sarwa Natalie Aguara. I teach 3rd grade. It is a challenge. Like the sister said, you work nonstop. You get fatigued, get headaches being on this computer, your eyes, you know. But one thing I want to remind everyone, because I believe everyone's an educator, but you need to, you know, like she said, she has family time on Sundays, but we also got to really take care of our bodies. I tried to, during the breaks, I get up, I take walks around the block, down the street, take a lot of nutrients because this is twice the work that I did as a classroom teacher.
Absolutely.
Twice. And after teaching for 28 years one way, overnight, I was thrown into teaching virtually. It's not impossible. We know the pedagogy, but all the technology components.
Yeah.
And, you know, making everything interactive and engaging, eye-catching for the students. So moving forward, you know, you used to be in a classroom, you have them sit down, listen to you. Now it's going to be pretty much the same way it is now, even if we go back to school, because think about this. They've been playing video games, watching movies, doing what they want to do on their time, eat, drink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a whole new way of educating now.
Yeah, it's different.
New way.
Yeah.
And it's double the work.
Double.
It's double the work, and we work a lot. I also teach elementary,
Right.
and I teach elementary art. And so to be able to come up with ways to make the format of Zoom, which is a 2-dimension, make it 3, make it round, not setting and doing all those things. It is a very difficult challenge. And you have to come up with different cameras. You have to spend more money. We as teachers, we spend all the time. And now we're having to spend even more money if we want to buy the equipment that can not make our the field of sight for our students, because they're constantly looking in front and looking in our faces. So I try to move it back, and it's a challenge. So
It is.
I got you. I'm right here because it's hard. 7 days. You're right.
You mean some people have more than one camera?
Yes.
Okay, that's beyond me. I ain't never.
Yeah. You can attach in Zoom. You can attach 2 cameras, and one camera could be on the visual looking at you, and then the other camera can be doing things, showing and demonstrating and doing a lot. So, yeah.
It's like producing a TV show.
Nonstop.
Yes.
But I also wanted to share this, and I'm, just because we're talking about education and what Nana Sarwar just said, buying all this equipment and additional things, we don't even get to write that off. I talked to an accountant. I said I wanted to buy a yoga chair to sit in to help my back, my posture. He was like, you can buy anything you want, but you will not get a tax write-off.
Yeah, they've gone crazy.
Wow.
That was taken away 2 years ago. I didn't even know that. But I just wanted to share since we were talking about education.
Well, since we're talking about education, I would like everybody to try to embrace this new paradigm shift because it's not going away.
Right.
And I think we need to use this as an opportunity to teach our children, spend more time with them and teach them about our culture and have that infiltrate into what they're trying to teach them in school. We've complained for years and years and years that no one sees us in education, that we don't exist there in the books or what have you. We have an opportunity now to change that.
Absolutely.
We have an opportunity to twist that, to bring it back to us and who we are.
Right.
So our kids are closer to us now than they have ever been before. We have an opportunity to recapture their thinking, and being in this paradigm forces our children to be more independent. It forces them to think independently, and we can use this to our advantage. So I know it's difficult. I'm an assistant principal. I direct teachers on how to instruct students, and much of it has been online. There's a good way to do this. And this is an opportunity for us. And I think we should look at it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, well said. Well spoken. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
So, excuse me, it's about, what time is it? It's 12 o'clock, so it's still kind of early, but I really, my coach had mentioned if you guys had any priests or names that you could send us when we start doing the spiritual work, so we could just have some little extras in the pot so that we can know Daddy Kofi or whatever shrine you think will be helpful in terms of what we're about to do, to send us that information so that we could move forward. So October will pretty much be the month when we're going to be doing a lot of this shrine work. So if you can get that information to us, or if you have a suggestion, just get it to us so that we can start moving forward. So after this meeting, we're going to start reaching out to the priest and moving forward with the process.
From the silence of the majority of the attendees here for this meeting, is it safe to assume that everyone is on board with what we're trying to do, that you'll support the elders, and that you are in support of what we're basically in support of what we're looking to do?
In agreement. Yeah, in agreement. Yeah.
And
Is
if
it-
you are, you can type yes in the chat box.
Thumbs up.
Because one of the things that we did at the Akom Kese was ask if there were any questions, any concerns, any comments that, you know, people send us their requests, send it to us. And we heard from maybe 2 people, and there weren't, what we received wasn't necessarily objections, but just ways to make things better, and suggestion that we move slower, and it's okay to start with a small group of elders and expand later. But we just want to make sure that everyone feels like they're being heard. We want to make sure that, you know, when things come up later on, that there is an opportunity for you to say, well, I didn't know, or I don't agree with that. We just want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to be heard. And so whatever the concern is, whatever it is, you know, please say something, and, you know, give us a chance to make it so that what we're presenting is amenable to everyone, right? So, right, like I would say, like right after the Akom Kese last year when we presented this, I did have a call and I spoke with 2 of my sisters, and we did have a talk about reframing our presentation and making sure that we are clear ourselves on what we're trying to do and how we present it to the community. So we really want to make sure that everyone is on board. And if there's anything, no matter what it is, that you may think it's something small, but someone else may have that same idea and think it's a really big deal. So please don't hesitate, say something, preferably now, so that, you know, we can get the feedback and give you conversation on it, but definitely, you know, in private if you need to speak to any one of us on the board, whoever you feel more comfortable with, because we really want to make sure that everyone has a buy-in into this. It's really, really important to us personally and as a group that you all have a buy-in.
Yeah, we never want this to seem as if we're dictating. This is not our purpose. This is all about just what the whole purpose of Akom Kese is, sharing and learning from each other. So this process is very, very collaborative, and, you know, we want your voices to be heard, because that's what it should be about. It's not one person voice over another and dictating and telling everybody what to do. No, it's not like that. It's a mutual respect for everybody.
And please know, this is not it's not a situation where only the priests have a say. We have people on the board who are Akomfo, then we have some who are not Akomfo. So it's not a situation where the priests are going to dictate anything. Again, it's for everyone to have a voice.
Madasi, to those of you who have already said in the chat, yes, you're on board. We appreciate that. And for those of you who are undecided, just let us know why.
They probably ain't online. That's what it is.
Have any of you been having private conversations within your own families, and what types of objections have been coming up, or what kind of questions have been coming up in your own private conversations that we may not have addressed, or just for general conversation? What's coming up in your own conversation?
Well, Palcho, this for Cherawa, I have a question. And is the board made up, or Akom Kese board made up of folks that were trained and not trained, but from Larteh as opposed to another part of Ghana?
We have a mix. Yes,
Oh,
we have a
good.
mix. So yeah, we have a mix.
So,
and then, like I said, we have people on the board who are not a COMFO.
My question is also, are the Comfo, trained in Latte or other parts of Ghana?
We have a mix, yeah.
yes.
Excellent.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so Akoshua, I mean, you probably are more closely affiliated with Latte than I am. My shrine comes out of the northern area, but I still have affiliations with Latte because my teacher, Nana Kodia, comes out of that system, but my shrine does not. So, but like Akosh was saying, it's a mix. So, in terms of the people who, how they were trained and where they were trained at.
Madasi?
Yes, that's the same for me. One of my teachers come out of Latte, but my shrine system does not come out of Latte.
What you got that big jacket on for? You act like it's cold outside.
It is.
You're muted, Audra. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I was saying, it was raining, so it's a raincoat.
Oh,
I had to get me a rain suit so that when it's raining, I could still be out here walking. But the rain kind of stopped, but it is kind of chilly, so it is keeping me warm.
Not cool. Well, if there are no more questions, I'd like to thank everybody for getting on this call and going through the presentation again. If you have any questions or anything that you feel you want to bring to our attention, please do. You have access to any members of the board. Akoshua maintains our Facebook page, so you'll probably hear from her first or get to her first before you get to anyone else. We got a question in the chat.
Are there other ways to connect with the board members, or do you have other contact information?
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Do you have other contact information for your board?
Yeah, on the website. Have you been to our website?
Not yet.
Yeah, on the website, there's emails for each of the board members.
What's the website?
It's aconcenter.org.
Central or center?
Center. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
We have a comment in the chat from Ama Vital. She says, I can't unmute. My family and I have been discussing the fact that this appears to be all-encompassing organization. We are excited to be a part of the movement of helping to establish a system for our children. Aikoae.
Cool. Great. All right, then, guys. Well, everyone have a great evening. Thank you for taking a part of your time of your day to discuss this with us, and we are excited. It's about to get real deep right now because of the shrine stuff that's about to get involved with this. It's going to be pretty heavy, so I'm excited and scared at the same time because I have no idea what's going to happen with the shrines, but it's all good. I love it.
Before you start, but before you go, because it is about to get all deeper, that we are going to be asking for help, for your physical help, for your emotional support, and of course your monetary help, because we got to pay for all that stuff. So as you know, with shrine work, we have to go visit the shrines, let them know what our intent is. Well, they know that part, but even to start the work. And so we're going to be asking for help for that part as well. We're going to be asking for help when the work is actually being done. We're going to be asking for people to participate. We don't know where it's going to be done yet, but I'm sure wherever we are, we're going to be saying, please come out and bring your bodies and your hands to lend to all the work. So please do look out for that. If you are not on Facebook, please let us know what is the best way to reach you. That's one of the things that people talked about at the Akom Kese. Not everyone's on Facebook, and we are aware of that. So let us know what is the best way to reach you in the chat. I'm hoping we have at least everyone's here email address. If you are not in the Akom Kese group, let me know. We can add you to the group.
Yes.
The way it's set up right now, yeah, I see it. I see you. The way it's set up right now, that you have to be a friend to one of the admins, so you can friend me on Facebook, and then I'll add you into the group. My name on Facebook is Akoshua Bakine, but just please, I'm glad that everyone's on board. When we start asking for help, we want to hear those voices say, "Class, sure," and throw that money at us like that.
Hi, it's Nana Sewa again. I wanted to say thank you so much for Akom Kese 2020. It was really nice. The information, the facilitators were professional. The information was what I needed. And this is really straight from the heart. It was beautiful. And the classes that I attended, I just thought it was really professional. And and that's what I desire and expect in our community when we do things. And before anybody left, that was my thought. I needed to say that I really had a good time and I learned a lot, an awful lot. And we are so smart and so brilliant. It's just it's so wonderful to have that information shared both ways, out and in and out. So I know we're moving on, but I just wanted to say, and I went to the last one, but I don't know if it was because the time, and it was just the information was so profound and so available and so needed to help us in that paradigm shift that someone spoke about earlier. So good job, board. Really good job.
Yeah, one of the things that we really made a conscious effort to do is to really bring Akom practices into things that are more relevant to what's going on in our life. So, for example, the mental health and Akom spirituality, or we have a priest who's a practitioner. This is what she does in her daily life and how that's informed in terms of the culture. So we really intentionally wanted to bring those type of conversations to the people because, like you said, we have a wealth of knowledge and information. Even with Auntie Amma, when she did her dissertation in Latte, talking about the funeral rights and the stuff that she's learned there. I mean, we have a lot of information in our community, and we want to share that information. I mean, it's gonna strengthen us all. No one can talk no crap to us because we know our stuff. And if we don't know our stuff, we know somebody who does know it. Like, you know what? I'll get back to you. I got somebody for you. Now you say what you got to say. And I think that's important. And that's really what we want to do. Everyone has value and everyone's capable of contributing to the greater whole. And I think that's something that Nana Yao or Parry, Denny Zulu used to say all the time. Everyone has worth, everyone has value. Whatever it is that you're good at, and it plays a role in our community.
I want to piggyback on that. From the women's meeting alone, we have so many powerful people, and everybody's doing some great things. And I want to let you know that I did put the directory together. We have it. We are going to send it, and we're going to share it with everyone in our Akom Kese group. But it's so many things, and I've been saying this for years. We don't need to go outside of our community for anything. Trust me when I tell you, we have everything that we need in our own community. All you have to do is ask for it. And if I don't know, I will know somebody who will find somebody who may know somebody whose sister's cousins, uncle, nephew, brother, beauty parlor person is going to get it. We have it. Trust me, we have everything that we need. We have the list of the books. Yes, we have all of that. I have all of that put together. So we're going to be sharing it. Don't worry about it.
We've actually had a couple of requests for the book club. That's what we call the book club to continue. They were like, that was not a book club. That was way so much more than that. So thank you for Konfo Nayo for doing that. I mean, that session was really, really powerful. People loved it and they wanted more. So, I mean, but this is the type of things that we're trying to do to empower people and, make it happen. Do what we got to get done. So. But again, thank everybody for their time. Y'all be blessed. Have a great rest of the Saturday and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.